Talofa everyone, Pastor Ray here from Harvest Community Church. I just wanted to say a special thank you to our faith community for contributing to our can drive last weekend. I was able to drop down to Adja Logan and to deliver our goods, and they were so appreciative. And also they mentioned that, because of people watching the live stream as well, many others from the community, as part of our other churches as well, were able to drop in and donate as well. So, hey, look, I just want to say that just because we finished the can drive last week, it doesn't mean that you can continue to contribute. So if ever you're in the Logan area, please feel free to drop down to Adja Logan, donate some non-perishables, some cans, which I know it's going to go a long way to providing essentials for our families in that particular area. So thank you so much again. And obviously last week also concluded our series of Battleground Finances, and I want to do a special thank you to all those who contributed to our special messages. We had Sam from Adja Logan, we had Christina Hawkins from our South Pacific Division, we had Karen as well, and obviously we celebrated just last weekend. And so I'm excited that this coming month is a new series and is Battleground Holistic Wellbeing. You heard it right, holistic well-being. And we're going to be looking at basically us as people, but also what does it look like to work at an optimal capacity in terms of our physical movement, our nutrition, our mindset, and all the good stuff that we need in order to function as humans. And so I'm so honored this week to be able to introduce a friend of mine to our first session. And so the thing that I do want to plug, in case I forget, the thing that I do want to plug is that at the end of this particular month, Holistic Wellbeing Month, at the end of this month, we are going to gather at Mount Cootha. So as a faith community, our friends and family are going to join us, and there's a little park down at the bottom of Mount Cootha. We'll give you more details, but at the bottom of this park, there's a little picnic area. We're going to gather, we're going to enjoy a meal, we're going to enjoy each other's company. But for those who are game enough, there's a nice walking track to the summit of Mount Cootha where we're going to walk to the top, enjoy the view over Brisbane City, and then walk back down together, and we celebrate with more food. So what better way to end our series at the end of the month? But before we get to the end of the month, again, hang in tight. This is going to be extremely beneficial month of holistic well-being, and the messages that you'll hear is going to be one that benefits your entire life. So I look forward to sharing with you guys, and I look forward to hearing from our other speakers as well. So enjoy the rest of the live stream, and again, end of the month, you'll see the details. Let's go. Yeah.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Aunt Fernita, and I have a wonderful story for you called Passing the Test. Today's memory verse is from Isaiah chapter 7, verse 15. It says, "Reject the wrong and choose the right." The message for today's story is we worship God when we choose good things. What is your favorite food? What is your favorite song? Are all of these the best choices for you? Daniel and his friends made a good choice. Daniel and 3 of his friends stopped and stared up at the huge and beautiful palace, but they weren't excited. In fact, they were very tired and very sad. Strangers in a strange country, they were captives of the king of Babylon. Once inside the palace, servants took the boys to big bathtubs. After their baths, a servant handed each one fancy new clothes and showed them to their new rooms. "Dinner will be ready soon," the servant said. Daniel and his friends knelt beside their new beds. They prayed that God would help them be strong and choose good things in this strange country where people didn't worship him. Soon the servant called the new captives to dinner. Daniel and his friends followed him into the dining room. Delicious food covered the tables, food that came from the king's table and had been offered to idols. Daniel and his friends looked at one another with wide eyes. What should they do? This wasn't the kind of food they knew God wanted them to eat. Daniel went to the chief official in charge of all the captives. "May my friends and I eat the kind of food our God has told us to eat?" he asked politely. The official was afraid of Daniel's idea. "The king ordered you to eat his food and drink and his wine," he answered. "If you get pale and sick-looking, the king will kill me for not doing my job." Daniel thought about the problem. He spoke to Melzar, the guard appointed to care for Daniel and his friends. "Will you test us for 10 days?" he asked Melzar. "Give us only simple food to eat, fruit and vegetables and nuts and grains, and give us water instead of wine. You can see how we look after 10 days." Melzar agreed to the test. For 10 days he gave the boys simple food and water to drink. When the 10 testing days were up, Daniel and his boys looked healthier than the boys who had been eating the king's food and drinking the king's wine. Melzar decided Daniel and his friends had made a good choice. He let them continue to eat the simple food. God blessed Daniel and his friends. He helped them learn all the things they studied in King Nebuchadnezzar's school. And 3 years later, when the king tested them, he discovered that Daniel and his 3 friends had learned more and were wiser than all the other wise men in his kingdom. Daniel and his friends had chosen good things for their bodies. They had worshiped God by their choices, and you can do the same.
So, Sandra, I was thinking about this whole Christian life thing. You know I'm new to all this.
Yes?
Well, I know that the tithe is 10% of my income, but what about the offerings? How much should it be?
This is actually a common question. I know something that will help you out. So, to avoid being driven by our changing impulses, the Bible suggests us to purpose, to vow something to God in our hearts about regular offerings.
But how should this vow be? I mean, should I just vow an amount to be given regularly?
Well, I would suggest that you consider at least 4 aspects. Number 1 is priority. God first must be your motto in every part of life. That includes financial stewardship. Jesus tells us to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And God also promises to provide for those who give the first fruits of all, their increase, before any other expense are met. It's a matter of faith. The second aspect is regularity. You know how our hearts are deceitful, right? So the regularity of the offering should not be determined by the calendar, the desires of the heart, calls from the pulpit, or sympathy for a missionary project or a worker. Instead, it should be determined by God's initiative to give. So, every time he provides a financial blessing, we must recognize its divine origin by tithing and giving promise from it. Number 3 has to do with a system. The Bible suggests a proportional percentage-based system as a fairer way to give back to God. It means that if we specify a percentage, we give back to him, as an offering, that same proportion from everything that he gives us. And, of course, if he doesn't give us anything, neither are we supposed to give him anything. It's like a partnership. Another advantage of this proportional system is that the heart will not be tempted to waver from too little to too much, according to our changing emotions. Finally, the last aspect is the period. It is important to establish a period for your vow, which is your promise, maybe a year, 6 months, and then evaluate and recommit for the same or a different percentage. Does it make sense?
Totally. I appreciate the explanation, Professor Sandra.
You silly.
While you worship the Lord today, renew your vows before him. Purpose in your heart a fixed percentage as your promise, to be returned to him after every financial blessing he pours onto your life. May we put our desires last and God first.
I reform, but won't succeed. We already declared the victory. Let the redeemed of the Lord tell the stories. By his grace we are walking testimonies. For thine is the kingdom and the glory. And we'll praise you, Lord, forever because you're holy, yeah.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our new series, Battleground Holistic Wellbeing. Man, we've just had an incredible month of, what did we just do? Battleground Finances. And now we're heading into another, we're just changing gears up. Obviously, it's heading into spring, heading into summer now, and everyone's just wanting to know, hey, how do I best prepare my body and myself, my mindset, everything we eat from, and plus the sun is out. Obviously, for us here in Queensland, it's been amazing, but I'm going to introduce you to my next guest, who probably doesn't have the same privileges as we do at the moment. But I want to introduce you to, this is Tim Laposa, and Tim is based in Melbourne. So thank you again, Tim, for making your time available. How are you going?
Thanks, Ray. Yeah, so we're actually, a lot of people, when they say where we're from, so we're from Geelong, which is just down the road from Melbourne.
Yeah.
We've been in a little bit less restrictions than Melbourne has for the last few months, but it's been pretty hectic down here, but it's still been a blessing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So I wanted to cut straight to the chase, Tim. Like, obviously,
sure.
Today's topic for those who are viewing us online is about holistic well-being, but more so specifically physical movement. And obviously, many of you have been asking me, hey, you know, surely you got lots of friends who are in the fitness industry and the well-being industry, and so I thought, rather than myself talking, everyone's sick of Pastor Ray talking, I thought I'd grab one of my good friends. And obviously, Tim and I, we have a unique relationship. But I guess you're probably all wondering, what does Tim do? Like, what does he do? So Tim, just give us a bit of a snapshot of what you do and where are you placed, in terms of location.
Sure, yeah. So in terms of location, in Geelong, Victoria, down in the cold part. It is a nice day today, though. It's 27 degrees, thankfully.
Nice.
So in Geelong, I've been in Geelong since I was 12. But yeah, just a little bit about my story. I started off as a personal fitness trainer 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist Church when I was younger. I left the church for probably a good 10 years at that time.
Yeah.
And as I was coming back, I really started to get an interest for health and fitness. So I decided to become a personal fitness trainer. And as I was on that journey of being a personal fitness trainer, as I started off, I really started to see the importance of serving people holistically. So not just about their physical fitness, but emotionally as well, and the foods that they're putting into their body, and why that was important. So yeah, I did personal training for probably about 3 or 4 years before I started employing other people to work for me as well.
Yeah.
I was working out of other gyms, and but always had this passion to be able to run a holistic health and fitness centre where we're doing a range of different services to be able to help people with different areas of their body. So like as I was saying before, with their minds, physically, and with their spiritual health as well. So so for the last 4.5 years, we've had our own facility in Geelong, and we have about 11 staff that work with us now. And that ranges from personal fitness trainers, we have an exercise physiologist, we have a lady who does pre-employment medicals for people that are starting off work.
Yep.
We do nutrition coaching with people, and we do other holistic programs, like we're running the Live More program at the moment as well.
Awesome.
Through the gym, and doing that online at the moment for everybody. But so that's a little bit about what we've currently been doing and where we're currently at.
There's two things I wanted to highlight. Number one, I'm glad you said the Live More program, because as part of our series, we've just purchased the condensed version, the little booklets of the Live More Happy booklet. And
Awesome.
so we're going to give that to our faith community, but also encourage our faith community to put it in the hand of someone else as well, because you never know what type of resources and, or tracks that could actually stimulate and actually be the catalyst for someone making that decision. So that's a great plug. So there you go, Darren Morton.
Yeah.
You didn't even pay me for that one.
There you go.
And number two, Tim, people probably listening going, are you serious? A place like this actually exists. So the question that I had, that I wanted to ask is, was this something that you'd like woken up one morning and went, oh, I want to create this? Like, how did it come about? Because obviously I know a bit more than most people about the facility,
Mm.
but the vision to get it to 11 staff and, the amounts of programming, your passion for people. Oh my goodness, he is a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. So how did the vision of this place come to be?
Sure, yeah. God definitely, yeah, I think He allowed things to happen in my life and everything for that to be able to happen in our family's life. So we were able to journey to go to, I guess, different places around Australia. So other, restaurants, which we'd call centre of influences as well, and went to a health, Adventist health retreat.
Yeah.
So I went to a couple of those places, worked along there for a little while, and got to understand about how they run their ministry.
Yeah.
And but I really had a passion to be able to to run, I guess, a center of influence model. And I guess if you look at Jesus's life, the way that he did things was he ministered to people, he won their confidence, and then he asked them to follow him. So it's really following that Christ method. So as I continued to, I guess, study the Bible and everything as well, then that's where that passion started to develop. And so I really just saw that health was I guess it was an entering wedge to be able to help people to teach them more about the spiritual things as well. And yeah, like we've had some an amazing stories of people that have come through through contact with us where they've made a decision to follow God in their life as well.
Wow.
So we've helped them with their physical health. We've created those relationships with them, and I guess another really good thing that we do is we connect people to our small groups that we run as well.
Right.
So
Tell
in
us
our
about that one. Yeah.
yeah, so I guess we've been running, my wife and I, Amy, we've been running small groups for, I'd say probably about 8 to 9 years now as well. So we went to AYC, for those that know, Adventist Youth Conference, and we were trained up pretty well by Johnny and Tina Wong, and I guess they've been our mentors for a few years now. And so we've been doing these small groups for a long time, and that was, we saw that there also needed to be a bit of a bridge from, meeting these people with their physical health. So what's the next step to bring them to a relationship with God? So yes, you can speak to them when you meet them face to face and everything, but if you've got other things to invite them to come along to, you get them to meet the wider community of people, and then you get to teach them a little bit more about their spiritual health and talk about more deeper, meaningful things. But our small groups, the way that we run them as well. So the small group, there's some discussion that we have. We don't go into really deep doctrinal things. It's more surface Christianity. We're not there to really argue, the doctrines and things like that of the Bible.
Yeah.
We're there to build a relationship with them, and then continue to, I guess, teach them more about the gospel and try and find those things that we can help disciple them through that journey as well. So that's been really amazing to be able to have that, and we've recorded a few videos of people of people actually saying how they were praying and that God would come that something would happen in their life, and then all of a sudden, next step, they're at our connect groups, and then their journey with God continues to grow, and the community starts to grow. So it's been really awesome it works to be able to reach other people.
Man, that's so amazing, Tim. And what I love about that model as well, Tim, it's a relational model. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're meeting their physical needs, which most of them come to the gym. I mean, look, how many, out of 10 people, how many of those people come with the physical need, but then the end goal. But it's not, I guess I'm very sensitive when I say that. It's not like, hey, every person that comes in, we want to convert them to all this. It's like you allow the natural progression of your relationship, and for their curiosity as well to go, wow, I've achieved these things. I trust Tim, the trainer. What else can I be trusted with Tim? How have you found then, obviously with the connect groups, and I'm glad you said that, because part of our model of church now that we only gather once a month. So we only gather once a month, and then in the weeks in between, we're encouraging our church family, hey, start connecting and plugging into your community, whether it be your next door neighbor, whether it be a local sports club, whether it be something social that you do, or whether it be your kids know another, family with other kids. How has that transition been for these people who come into these connect groups?
Yeah. Well, I think it's an easier transition. I think the traditional model of the way of people doing church is to ask someone to come along to church. So they've never actually spoken to them about God or anything like that, but they first want to let's get them to a church service.
Yeah.
Um, and this is just a bit of my thoughts. Not everybody might agree with it as well,
Yeah.
but I believe that when we come to church on a Sabbath, we're coming there to worship God together as believers. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to rush their Christian experience by bringing them to church and then asking them to worship God of
Yeah.
someone who they haven't really met before. The good thing about the Connect groups is this is where when we're opening the Word, they're learning about things for the first time, and they're hearing people pray. They're hearing prayers answered as well as we continue to pray each week, and we talk about any prayers that have been answered. I guess they really start to see church in action. And I can't remember the exact the quote of the verse, like word for word, but basically it's talking about that when the love is shown within each other, that's when that we'll know that we're Jesus' disciples.
Yeah.
So in these Connect groups, it's an opportunity for us to be able to share love and to and care for people's needs as well, and that's something that we also do in our centre through the gym. So when people see that, they see Christ in action there as well.
Yeah.
So they start to learn a lot more about him instead of going straight into a traditional church service.
Yeah, that's amazing. I
So I
wonder.
really like your model that you're doing because
Yeah.
I, re- I was going to say I really like the model that you're doing because we're actually church planting at the moment as well,
Wow.
and we're looking to do a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
meeting
recently we
once a
just
month, but having
yeah. So recently we did our gathering just recently, and we went to a park, had a picnic, and obviously it was the end of our series on finances. So we aimed it around giving or serving. So we done ADRA. We have a local ADRA just near within our community, and we did a can collection or just non-perishable foods. And so not only did they bring their food, but it was a good excuse to come to the park, picnic with their family and friends. And it was so informal, but at the same time, that was true connection, And so with that model, we're really reshaping how it looks like.
yeah.
And so it's all new for us as well, Tim. So, as we're trying to encourage them, hey, your small group or whatever life group, or we call it households of faith, we really want you to grow within your home. Like it starts in your family. Like there's no point of trying to go and create something yet within your own home, you guys are not right. And so if we can create the home to be a safe space for safe people, then therefore others in your community would want to connect. And I said to them, don't think about the home as in within the four walls of your house you have to have church. It's like, is your family a family that is really reflecting Christ's love and is really reflecting this community that many people are really longing and searching for, but unbeknownst to them, they're just going with the same old rut thing. And obviously with your experiences at the gym as well, a lot of these people are coming into these Connect groups going, wow, the richness of a lot of these relationships is really, the real thing that they're missing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, people are longing for connection, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about movement. Obviously, you're in the business of, I guess, helping people move better and whatnot. And I'm always fascinated, obviously, in my bit of experience in fitness training and movement. Like, I've always been fascinated fascination was probably a good word, about how God has actually created our bodies. Like, it's probably the most unique thing in the world and how we're supposed to move. What has been your experiences as you were training and learning to become a PT? Obviously, there was the serving like element to it, like helping people. But in your studies and obviously now, like, where have you seen, like, were there any moments where it was a light bulb moment and God, and for you it was just like, my word, God is like, we're created so wonderfully. Like, do you get that moments all the time when you're in the gym?
Yeah, that's right, for sure. I think you're the master at this as well, man. Definitely on movement. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag there. I think God's definitely created us, us to move, and if like I guess one of the best antidepressants is exercise for sure. So getting outside as well, getting fresh air, getting sunshine. So if we can exercise outside, that's even better. But yeah, and I guess it's good to be able to cater your training around I guess where you're currently actually training someone the other day, and they had really poor mobility and could hardly move at all, and the whole body was really tight. They sit down most of the day, and so obviously for this person, it was very important for them to make sure that they were doing a lot of stretching, doing a lot of mobility. So because their other goal was for some weight loss, and they wanted to feel fitter and get more energy as well. But sometimes we might jump straight into wanting to go and do some really hard training and moving a lot, but you might do yourself more damage than good if your body's feeling really tight, you don't have that mobility there. So I guess it's good to look to see where's your body currently at to what you can and can't do. So I'd always encourage people to make sure that they're adding in mobility into their training. And maybe combining some cardio training, getting their heart rate going, and then some strength training as well, so that they can have a healthy, strong body. So strengthening their bones, strengthening their joints and their muscles and everything. And that's got lots of benefits as well for our immune system, for our mental health and everything as well. So yeah, it's definitely important. Movement is definitely a big thing. And I guess like the obesity rates are always pretty high in Western countries as well. So just movement in itself, it's going to help you burn more calories, will help you burn more body fat. But then once you start moving and you start exercising, I guess other areas in your life start to change as well. So like the science behind exercising, you would start to think more about changing other things in your life. So like getting your nutrition right as well. So it's kind of like the catalyst to change other things in your life too once you start exercising. And then you also don't want to go and undo all that hard work.
That's right. People think, I've done everything right. The trainer has told me to do this exercise, this many reps, this particular technique, but then it's all undone when you go home or wherever you put things in your body, like food that's not nutritious, it's not actually fueling, it's not actually helping your body recover, and you wonder why. I wonder why I haven't lost so many kilos in so many weeks. It's like, okay. Tim, I want to know more about the name of your gym. Obviously, we haven't actually mentioned it, but tell us the name of your gym, and number two, tell us where did it come from and what was the vision behind the name of your gym?
Sure. So it's called Fit for Living, and that name, I think God gave me that name when I first started my personal fitness training at the start. So that was even prior to me, I guess, stepping back into the church and having this vision of that. But I think God must have just planted that name because you haven't changed it since then. So it's Fit for Living, and our motto is called Living the Life as well. So, and if we go back to Fit for Living, so that's just not just about fitness. It's not just the physical fitness, but it's just being fit to be able to actually live. So that's like, you could be fit in the way that you eat, fit in the way that you think, fit in the way that you move and everything as well. So we want to be able to be fit to be able to actually live our life the best, and that's why our motto is living life to the fullest. It's that's where that name comes from.
Yeah, that's so cool, and I love it because it embodies everything that you are about. And for those who one day will hopefully meet you, if the borders ever open up and our people ever get to meet you and Amy and the crew down there, like what you are describing really does embody everything that you love, but also what you feel that God has actually led you guys to. Tell us a bit about Amy and the role that she has in this whole Fit for Living. I mean, obviously I know, but for those who are listening going, man, Tim must do it all.
Yeah. No, so Amy works behind the scenes, and also she's a really great networker and connector as well, and good at the social media side of things. So she helps out with social media. She definitely helps with the networking, and I guess she's got a lot of really good discernment as well. So in terms of like when we've hired different staff and everything, that she's she's been really good at that. And to give you an example,
Yeah.
she dropped someone's name to me about a couple of weeks ago. So she works for a company that we work for, or called WorkSafe. I don't know, for those of you who know WorkSafe. So they're a corporate client of ours, WorkSafe Victoria. And so there's a girl who's basically one of the biggest advocates at WorkSafe. And yeah, she said to me, I think Sarah would be really good to come and work with us, and she's a Christian. And I said, oh, we'd probably lose our contract with WorkSafe if we did that. And then this morning, I just heard from one of our other staff who was speaking to Sarah that she's going to be potentially moving away from WorkSafe next year, and asked whether there'd be a position at Fit for Living.
No way.
So I guess Amy has that discernment, and
Wow.
so God works through her in that way as well. So that's pretty cool.
That
Yeah,
that is so cool. And I just love
and
how,
she's heavily involved in the Connect groups.
yeah. And I mean, I can only imagine. I think what I'm really inspired by and encouraged by, Tim, is that, you really captured that in any sort of journey, particularly our fitness journey, and obviously the context of this conversation is that we can't do it alone. Like, you know what I mean? Like we actually need others around us to help us achieve a particular
Mm.
goal, or help put together the vision that God has given us. And obviously with the gym, I shouldn't even say gym, because it's not a gym. It's more than, it's actually, it's a well-being center. It's probably, I reckon it's the only one in Australia. Would that be right, Tim?
Yeah, I don't think there's many similar, and we actually call it Fit for Living, holistic wellness center as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, that's just fantastic. And so, knowing that we can't do it alone, and we have to have people around us that are going to uplift us. And so, and that sort of segues into our conversation this afternoon, is that, what are some goals? I shouldn't say what are some goals. What are some things that you could probably encourage someone who's just either starting their fitness journey? Obviously, we're coming into summer and everyone's like, I should do something now. Someone who's starting, someone who's contemplating, who sort of started and sort of fell off, and then even maybe some encouragement for someone who's currently in it and going, hey, is this ever going to end? And so what would be something that you would offer as a word of encouragement for people who are thinking about their fitness or movement journey?
Sure. So I guess the first thing that and what we normally tell new clients or people that may become new clients is, first of all, finding out their reason why they want to do something.
Wow.
So if they say, okay, I think I need to exercise. So the first thing is going, okay, so why do I want to exercise? Because if you don't have a real strong enough reason why you want to do something, then you're probably not going to put in the hard work to be able to do that. So I guess that's the first step. So finding out the why. And then the next part, I guess, is setting some goals. So like, what do you actually want to achieve? And if you're not really clear on what those goals are or what's achievable, then that's where it might be good to seek some professional advice. And that's where, maybe getting a personal fitness trainer might be able to help you with setting those goals. And then the other thing then is you start to implement the program. So like, what are the things that you need to do to be able to achieve that goal? So like, if you're just starting out, and let's say you're not working with a personal fitness trainer for the first time, I would just at least start with something. So it could be walking, or it could be doing some walking and some running and doing some stretches. And I guess, like, over the internet, there's a lot of stuff out there which we can find if we're not sure on how to do things as well. But and obviously, if things too much of a challenge, then that's where you might just seek some more professional advice. But I think it's initially finding out that reason why you want to do something, setting those goals, being committed to those goals, and then starting.
And you know what, Tim, like, those 3 points are like, if someone's watching today, you should actually write it down, because these are gold nuggets. And it's not just applicable just to fitness. This is applicable to anything, really. Like, what's a why behind what you want to do? Whether it be, hey, I want this particular job. Okay, why do you want this particular job? Okay, that's good. That's good enough reason. So what are the things? What are the goals? What's the aim to sort of get you there? And then obviously with the planning and programming, it's like, what are you going to do proactively to actually get yourself in a position where you can get that dream job or be in that particular position where you can influence more. And so, Tim, man, you and I can, we can chat forever, but I'm just mindful of our time together. So if anyone wants to be in contact with Tim, again, look up Fit for Living on Facebook. Would that be correct, Tim?
Yep. Yeah, yep. Facebook or Instagram, yeah.
Instagram, yep. And again, follow, like their content. Again, like I said, this place is so unique. Many people talk in my circles that I know of. We all dream of like these amazing facilities where it's all encompassing one. But this is Tim, and I know that him and his wife Amy are just anointed. And yeah, if you want to see what a place looks like that can really impact someone holistically, you have to check them out. So Tim, thank you again for making time. I know you're a busy man. You're going straight into another appointment. So I appreciate you just making the time and effort just for me this afternoon, and also to speak life and encouragement to our Harvest Church community, but also our live streamers as well. So are there any parting words that you want to say before we tune out and let you go?
Thanks, Ray. No, I really appreciate all of that. But yeah, I'd probably just repeat, what I said before. Just trying to find out what's the reason why you wanna make a change.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Tim, and thank you for everyone for tuning in. Next week, you're going to hear from Di Lama, and she's going to be sharing her journey on, I think it's Food Feeds Your Mood. So it's a bit of the chapter from Darren Morton about how to, I guess, fuel our bodies with the right stuff, and how God actually created our bodies in that, and in a way that we can work at an optimal way. So this is Tim Laposa, again, Fit for Living. Look them up on Facebook and on Instagram as well. And we'll see you next week. Thanks again, Tim.
Thanks, Ray.